One of the things that we need to really become aware of in our understanding of being a human being is that there's instinct functioning. We have instinctual drives, right? The need to eat, and there's certain instincts that drive us, instinctual drives. And what comes out of that is, you might call, human desire or wanting, right? And so we want and then we try to get. That's just what we do. That's just sort of willpower operating. And, but, even the Buddha pointed out that one of the causes of suffering is clinging or desire, wanting. So people try to stop wanting as if somehow that's going to produce freedom. But what that usually produces is resistance to wanting. Okay? So it's very important to allow wanting and to recognize it. And it may be very important to satisfy it. In fact, it is, until one begins to see through that or begin to not be satisfied by satisfying wanting. Okay? So one can become conscious of the drive to want. Okay? Because there's a part of it is also just nature, just curiosity, wanting to know, wanting to explore. There's it's not necessarily, that wanting is not necessarily a source of suffering. That wanting can just be nature, the function of nature, that our nature is to be curious, for instance, right? And curiosity is a kind of wanting, but it doesn't have to be identified with. What I'd like to talk about a little bit is what you might call planting seeds of intention, which is a kind of wanting, you might say, but it's more a kind of asking. So and that kind of wanting or asking is really in the realm of big mind or big heart. So when one finds oneself in spacious awareness, then one can actually ask for world peace, for, health, wellness. There was somebody who came in satsang the other night who was talking about feeling cursed, like there was a family curse of financial lack, that everybody had this, it kept showing up, and he was worried that, not only did he have it, but his son was going to inherit it. And he sat there and he brought that into the space, and we were in a very amplified space of awareness. And while that was happening, I said, may that curse be lifted from you. And at that moment, because that was like planting a seed of intention into the space of awareness, at that moment, all of his anxiety disappeared. All of his fear disappeared completely. And there was a tremendous change in the room, and he felt very, very different. So that would be an example of planting a seed of intention. You might also, an old way of saying it would be, you might call it curse removal or exorcism, but in that space of awareness. It's very powerful. It can be very powerful. But there can't be a wanter. There can't be somebody who's identified with the wanting and the needing. That is not it. That's still ego, wanting to utilize, wanting to manipulate reality to get what it wants. That's not what I'm talking about. It really is not my will, but thy will. It really is a recognition that from that place, there is no belief that this is my life anymore. That's not functioning anymore. One is really, if one is trying to find anything, is how to be of service. That's really, I think, what really comes to the foreground. And it's not, there's no identity in that either. It's just obvious that one wants to give. It just is, because how can you not? It's like the blood cells all work together, right? It's nature knowing itself in the other, in the world, in the planet. That's what's functioning.